Hey.
Man, what's the knowledge? It's your boy Demon. We back. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to open it up for discussion surrounding this guilty verdict that Jonathan Majors just received a couple days ago. So for those who are unaware, over the course of this past month, Jonathan Majors has been in court disputing the charges of harassment and minor assault. He was found guilty of those charges and since has been charged with minor assault and harassment, misdemeanor assault and harassment in regards to his at the time girlfriend, Grace Jabbari. So, and over the course of this trial, which was a very short and speedy trial, I mean they had like 3 weeks of trial and 2 days of deliberation. But over the course of this trial, various amounts of evidence has surfaced over the course of this trial, including audio recordings, video, phone calls to 911. And during the course of this very short trial, we've seen the different angles and how the evidence has been used to either find him guilty or not guilty during this trial. But let me paint a clearer picture by reading you guys a little snippet out of the article. And this is according to Vox.com, but according to Vox.com, after a 3-week trial and 2 days of jury deliberation, Jonathan Majors, the Emmy-nominated star of Lovecraft Country and Creed 3, has been found guilty on charges of misdemeanor assault and harassment. Majors was arrested in New York in March 2023 after a reported domestic dispute with Grace Jabbari, his girlfriend at the time. Majors fractured Jabbari's finger during the incident. And I wanted to talk about this today because I think this case in particular is a sign of the times that we're living in, and it goes to show just how different the intersectional dynamics between men and women are at this point in time in 2023. So, and I wasn't even aware of this case until like 2 weeks ago, but it happened in March. I would kind of see a few headlines and different things, but I didn't really care about the story, and I didn't really want to say anything until, you know, everything was finished and wrapped up and more evidence was brought forth. But I think this is very telling. I mean, if you've seen any of the evidence, I don't think I'm gonna put any of those things in this video. You can go look up the evidence on your own time. If you've seen any of the evidence, you listen to any of the phone calls, right? And the phone calls that they're using, or they have used in this case, was Jonathan Majors calling the police. It wasn't Grace Jabbari calling the police. Most of the phone calls that were used from the 911 dispatch was on that particular night, it was from Jonathan Majors. It was him calling the police on that particular night when she was kind of drunk and got rowdy, and he had, you know, put her back in the vehicle and had to sit her down and talk to her. And apparently at that time, that's when he broke her finger. But if you look at, you know, and they dropped this video footage, I want to say about a week ago. If you see that video of him, the dude is like running away from her. She's literally chasing him, running behind him, and he ran like at least a few city blocks trying to get away from this girl. You get me? Like he I don't know how much more evidence you really need for that particular night, because it was more than one night in question. You know, there was an instance where he called the police and she was drunk and they were at his home or at his condo or apartment, and he called the police and said, listen, I need y'all to come check on her. She's up here passed out. There's blood. You know, I just got here basically and I don't know what's going on. So he really covered all the bases of what you should do as a man in these particular sticky situations, right? And it just begs the question, like, where are we really when it comes to men dealing with women and women dealing with men in this Western society today? If a guy, and of course the optics aren't going to look good because, you know, he's a buff black guy. She's a small, skinny white girl. It's never going to look good in America, bro. Even if you don't do anything, it's not going to look good at any point, really. But it's just like, how many precautions can you take as a man, or you should have to take as a man, in this world today to prove your innocence. They literally have video footage of this guy. He ran at least like 3 city blocks away from her, bro. Like, he's jogging away. It's on camera. It's not poor quality. We see him and we see her, and she's chasing this guy in traffic, mind you. Like, it's cars behind her, and she's still chasing this dude in traffic. On a particular night where she broke her finger, she's tracing him in traffic, and they want us to believe that this guy is the abuser. He's the one who's threatening her or abusing her, and he broke her finger. What's more believable? He broke her finger, you feel me, pushing her back into the car, or she's just being drunk and belligerent and maybe fell or maybe did something or grazed her finger against something and she injured her finger. And mind you, not only do they have that footage of her chasing him a few blocks around the city, but they also have footage on that same night of her being in the club with, after the incident occurred where she's supposedly already injured. They have footage of her in the club buying more drinks. You get what I'm saying? Like, after that whole little domestic incident occurred, she's buying drinks. She's using the hand where her fingers broke on as if there's no problem with her hand. Like, she doesn't have an injury really. And everything is all peachy. Everything is gravy. So, I mean, it's just like, how much precautions do men have to take? And I think, you've been seeing this narrative, especially coming from different women in different communities, different racial communities. They've been saying, like, this wouldn't have happened if you had any other type of girl outside of a white girl. And it's just like, if you live in this society and you're tuned in with how things go, it doesn't matter the race of the woman that would have happened at that time. Yeah, it maybe look kind of worse because it's a white girl that he's with, maybe, and he's this big buff black dude, domineering type figure. He literally towers over her in a stature type of sense. But listen, man, that really shouldn't matter. If it was a Latino woman, if it was a black woman, if it was a white woman, if it was an Asian woman, I think the results would still be the same. You get me? So it just goes to beg the question, like, how much can we really do to protect ourselves? You get me? Like, how much, as a man of that status, as a man that's held in that high of regard in terms of his place out here in the ecosystem, his place out here in society. This is a guy who, from his skill set of being an actor, can bring in different various amounts of revenue, generate different amount of income. This is a guy who has worked very hard to get to where he's at. The dude is only like 34 at this point, and now his whole acting career is basically in jeopardy. I mean, at this point, they didn't even waste a day. Like, Marvel dropped him. As soon as the guilty verdict came in, he was dropped as Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is that type of role, especially for a black man, is a major role into like today's climate. You get me? Like, that's not something to laugh at. It's not something to sneer at. That was a major role. You feel me? And all of that is, it's in the air now. His career is basically in the air now. It's up in smoke because he's around, or has been around, has been dating and been sleeping around a woman who he really couldn't trust to just act like an adult. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's weird. It's weird to me, bro. Because in a lot of ways, and not even just with this case, but a lot of these laws are sexist towards women. And a lot of women don't realize it. It's like, these laws, they say they protect you, and on some level they do. But a lot of them basically say intrinsically on a base level, like, women as adult women don't have they don't have the same amount of agency over their life as like a man. A lot of people like fail to realize that, but I don't know, it's a weird climate to be living in today. And even as a kid, I want to tell a personal story that I had to go through it like in junior high when I was around 13. But even as a kid, and I'm a black man too, I don't know who doesn't know that at this point of being, a viewer on this channel. But even as a kid, there was an incident maybe when I was in 7th grade. And my teacher, Mr. McKinney, this was a science class. R.I.P. Mr. McKinney. He was probably one of the best teachers I ever had. One of the few male teachers that I had throughout my tenure, like junior high and high school. But he was an older white guy. He fought in Vietnam. He was a cool white dude, man. He died of a heart attack maybe when I was in like 11th grade. But we were in Mr. McKinney class, man. It was like a regular day, and it was the 7th period, so it was the last period of the class, or last period of the day at school. And I used to be cool with this girl. I'm gonna say her name. It was a little short white girl. She was cool as hell. I'm gonna just call her name Raylyn. Let's call her Raylyn for right now. And Raylyn, she was cool with a lot of other dudes in the class. It was, the school I went to was like, if I had to give a percentage, at that time it was either 80 or 90% black and 20 to 10% white, and maybe a few Latinos and a few Native Americans. But it was like a regular day in that classroom, and at the end of it, like the last 20, 25, 30 minutes, everybody was chilling. We had already complete, the work or the video we had to watch for that day. We completed the assignment. He completed his lesson. And he was just letting people chill out, in the last 20 minutes of class. And I was sitting back there. It was like me and 3 other black dudes. We were sitting back there in class. We were chopping up with Raylyn. And, like when the bell rung, Mr. McKinney, for whatever reason, he was already standing by the door getting ready for everybody to leave. And you know how teachers do this thing where, like, don't get out your seat until I tell you to get out your seat. So, but he basically had this thing on this particular day, at least, where he was like, don't get out this seat until I turn the lights off and I tell you I get out the seat. So we were listening, but as soon as the bell rang, people were going to get up anyway. But he didn't really waste any time. He instantly cut the lights off. So I'm getting up to leave, and as I'm going, like I'm walking up my row, because we're in the back of the class. As I'm walking up my row to go to towards the door so I can leave, the lights are already off. It's basically pitch black in the back. You only see the light coming from like the window or the open door once he opened it, and the light coming from the hallway. So as I'm going past him, like one dude went back towards me, and Raylyn, her desk was literally right next to mine. But one dude, he walked past me, and I almost bumped into him trying to leave, and that's how I knew he had walked past me. And you could hear like the commotion of different other, at least 2 more people, 1 more person, like going back towards Raylyn. And I didn't think anything of it, right? And I'm already like in the front of the classroom. I'm leaving, I'm laughing, I'm having a jovial time. Everything is copacetic. But the next day I come in, I get called to the office. Oh, before I even get to the office, I get to the point to where it's maybe like 2nd, 3rd period the next day, and people are talking like, "Hey, bro, weren't you back there like next to Raylyn yesterday?" I was like, "Yo, why?" She was like, "Bro, they got no folks up here." And when we say no folks, they mean like police and different authorities. And the girl in the classroom with me asking me these questions, she's like, "Yeah, you were back there, fam. I don't know if you know, but the people up here, they trying to say that Caitlyn basically, got assaulted. You feel me? She feels as if she got ganged, raped. You feel me? Like, I can't say the word, but you can use your context clues. She feel like the few dudes who were back there on her were trying to, assault her in one group. So I'm like, nah, bro. I was already out the room at that point in time. And I'm about to wrap this story up because I'm running out of time. But, just me being a 14-year-old black boy, and we're in Mississippi at this point in time. I'm from Mississippi, So me being a 14-year-old black boy at the time, all the consequences of, and I know I didn't do anything. I knew I was innocent. But the point being is, like, the scrutiny that I faced that day from not only, you know, my principal and my parents, but just like how quickly your reputation can be changed by, you know, your peers. Like, I had people who I didn't even mess with in the school looking at me like I was doing something before they even knew the full story, right? But, you know, just me being under that scrutiny at 14, it really put in perspective of how, you know, these are the type of situations and type of pressure that you have to move under as being a young man and being a man in this country. And even just going back to my situation, like, I knew I was innocent, but I still felt that pressure. And the pressure, you know, it wasn't alleviated until Raylan herself came out and said, like, no, he didn't do anything. Even with the video evidence, you see me walking out into the hallway, you know, at the point in time where everybody's trying to get out the classroom, right? You see this on the camera. I'm wearing the same jacket as yesterday. And even with that evidence, I still had it in the back of my mind. Like, what if this girl says, yeah, I was back there? What if she said, yeah, he was one of the dudes I feel like was trying to do that? I already know, even at that point in time, I already know how this, you know, how this legal system moves and how the system in America moves, bro. I probably would have been fucked. I would have been fucked. If I wouldn't have got criminal charges, I would have at least had to go to youth court. You get what I'm saying? Like, or something like that. I would have to go to alternative school. So it's just like, bro, this is the type of scrutiny that young men and men in society have to move under. And like right now in today's time, man, some people would say that's good. Some people would say, you know, it should be like that. But if you think about it, bro, these type of things change the dynamics between man and woman, and I don't think it changes them for the better. Like, these type of situations is one of the reasons why a lot of women today are confused on why dudes don't approach them out in public, because they don't want to be labeled a creep. It's always like a 50-50 chance. Like, you don't really know if the girl's attracted to you. Of course, there are certain signs, a different amount of eye contact and things of that nature. But you don't really know if she's attracted to you until you go up to talk to her. And all it takes for you to go up and say hi, and now she feel like she's being assaulted, bro. Like, that's how out of hand things have become today. And, you know, I just feel for the guy Jonathan Majors, bro. It seemed like he did everything he was supposed to do in this situation. I mean, he called the authorities on multiple occasions. His girl at the time didn't even call the authorities on either of those occasions, I believe. He was the one who called every time, to my knowledge. I think she did have like an audio recording, but that was the recording where you heard him say, like, listen, I'm a man of a different status, baby. Like, I need you to move different. I need you to be on my side. I need you to be like, you know, a Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama. You get me? And he was trying to get it in her head, you know, at that point, like, listen, you're moving a bit too reckless for me right now. You're moving just a little bit too reckless. Like, position on man to, you know, be able to get these resources and to acquire this status. It took time. It took a real grind for, you know, a man, yet alone a black man, to get to that level, bro. And, you know, it's crazy to see that even in some cases you can do everything you're supposed to do and you can still get fucked over, bro. You get me? Like, if you don't understand what I'm saying, just take the time out and go look at the videos of him running away from her. Go look at the videos of the audio recordings and the phone calls. Go look at the video of the girl being passed out in like their closet or something, and she's laying on the floor like passed out. She can't even move because she's so inebriated. It's crazy, bro. It's wild to think that this is where society is taking us in terms of just, you know, this figurative gender war that's been going on for like decades at this point. I mean, these type of things have been going on before I was born, bro. And it's just, we get to see a different side of it now because we have, you know, everybody has a camera on every block. Every business has a camera. Every phone has a camera. You can record it. You can record the audio. You get to see a difference, you know, or a different thing behind it. But it's just crazy to think about. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. It's your boy Demon, man. Whether you're a man or a woman listening to this, listen, protect yourself at all times. try to be a genuinely good person. Try to treat everybody with respect. Stay safe out here in these streets because these streets are treacherous. Be wary of the people you're laying next to at night. You never know their motives really. Hopefully you're laying next to someone who actually loves you for you. And, I'm going to see y'all in the next one, man. Peace.